Nelson, I want you to look at this picture. What
Yeah,
do you see?
is that not a judge?
I mean, what is that on top of his head?
You know what? If maybe I had to go to law school, I'm pretty sure this is one of the reason why I won't go to law school because I won't have stuff like this put on my black hair. Because I don't think that hair on top of the judge's head has anything to do with his Africanness. I don't think that. Hello, family. You're welcome to today's episode of the African People's Business Podcast Show. And if you're just coming new, my name is Nelson, and I am here with your African sister.
Princess Bella.
And I want to let you all know that you can listen to this episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and any other podcast platform that you want to listen or download this episode on.
From your expression, what do you think is wrong from that picture?
That picture, I don't think anything is wrong with the picture, but I think there is something in it that is not supposed to be there.
What's that?
Well, you're seeing a black judge putting on a hair, an artificial hair that does not have anything to do with him. Doesn't that ring any bell to everyone that is of African descent? Now, I'm not saying that, I know some people might be saying, but Nelson, this is just a normal thing that maybe a normal regulation that like a law that have been set in place. But the law set in place by who? Is it by us, the Africans, or by the people that introduced that law to us? Because I don't think that hair on top of the judge's head has anything to do with his Africanness. I don't think that.
I want to ask you this question. What makes you think that hair is not a like African hair? I want to ask that question. Like give us more details about it.
Well, let me, okay, before I answer your question, let me ask you a question. I want you to just imagine the time of our ancestors, right?
Yes, yes.
And I want you to just imagine the place where they go to judge cases.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if they have something, maybe there is something to judge.
Yes.
Now, let's just try to compare it with this our modern day court. All right. And
Mm-hmm.
in the ancient times, do you think the people that will be responsible to execute law and order or maybe to judge those cases, they'll be having this artificial thing on their heads instead of their normal black African hair?
Well, back then there was nothing like that.
Good. There was nothing like that. And so what's the difference now? Now, let me tell you something. I know you might tell me, well, back then, things like this didn't exist,
Yes,
or maybe
they didn't
back then
exist.
it didn't exist. But the things that exist back then, they laid the foundations to what we now have now. If you understand what I mean.
Mm-hmm, I'm getting.
Civilization didn't start in this our modern time. The reason why we have modern technology now is because technology started in the ancient times.
Yes, of
And
course.
the reason why this particular image is portrayed in court, it is because it originated from a particular place and it is their culture. Are you aware of that?
Yes, I'm
Their
aware.
ancestors, this is what their ancestors were doing. This is the look that their ancestors were having since
Yes.
from the ancient time. And this culture never originated in Africa. So why can't black people, or let me just say Africans, also look into their ancient times and bring what their ancestors were doing and execute it into their own, maybe their own law and order or court, whatsoever it is called?
Well, as for me, like if you like ask some people like was that they will tell you the ones back then were old fashioned.
What do you mean old fashioned? There is nothing
Like
like old fashioned.
if you ask some people, that is what they are going to tell you.
No, there is nothing like old fashioned. Recently, was it last year, the president of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore, are you aware that he put a law against shaving students' hair in school, like shaving African hair? I talked about, I did a video, the video is on the channel. The president of Burkina Faso has placed a law, no more shaving of your woolly hair. Why should you shave your, and I want you all to understand, I want everybody that is of African descent to understand that your hair is very, very special and unique. Having a black hair, your woolly hair is, and that is what the society has been trying to destroy. They have been trying to make us not to like our hair. There are many instances like that, and that is why you see even the president of Burkina Faso, when he came to power, he had to put a stop to this. He had to put a stop to this. Like, black children cannot be going to school, and they will be telling them, be forcing them to go and shave their hair, both men and women. you know Maybe women, maybe men we can understand, but women, you force a girl child to shave her hair because, I don't know what they're doing that, but the reason is because they have placed and make us not to like ourselves. You know what I mean? And I think that needs to stop.
Well, I've heard all what you have said, Nelson.
Yeah,
But
so
I still have a question to ask you.
yeah, go on. I don't have any
But
problem.
is it really written? Like, I know we like women, they can keep their hair, but is it also good for a man to keep his hair, like his natural hair? Is it good
Why?
for him to
What?
keep it?
What is wrong there? Is there anything wrong? I don't see anything wrong there. You are going to tell me, listen, in the ancient times of our ancestors, both male and female, they had a particular style that they did with their hair. So are you going to tell me that that was wrong back then?
Okay, so are you also trying to say back then men they were not shaving their hair? I
I
mean,
didn't
I mean
say
in our ancestors period.
they were shaving, but it was rare. Men were instead more of decorative. All right, they were both male and female. They were decorative. How do you think we all know about these hairstyles that we are doing today? Maybe men knowing about dada and knowing about some other hairstyle. Do you think it just came all of a sudden? It started from our ancient ancestors.
Wow.
So it's something that this is a very sensible topic, and I'm really glad you brought this topic today. That picture. I'm really glad. I'm really really happy. You know what I mean?
I still have some questions to ask.
All right, it's okay. You can go ahead.
I still have some questions. But okay, I want to say this. Are you aware, Nelson, that this the way things are flowing now, like if you are a guy, you do your hair, you plait your hair. There are some offices that you can't work in there. Like what can you like tell them? What can you tell those people out there that like they are focused on if you're a man is plaiting their hair, he's a rascal?
Well, that is the narrative. That is the, how can I put it? Well, if a man that dress responsible, because the excuse that they will give and the notion that they will have is that people with that kind of hair here in Africa, with their own hair, they are considered as irresponsible.
Yes.
All right. Now, if you even if someone dress in suit, look good, and maybe still has maybe his rasta hair on, which is, he will arrange it very well and still go to the office, they will still refuse to give him the job. Now, I want you to answer me this question: is it your appearance that is having the skill, or what is inside your head?
None of that. Because see, I love to say things like direct. It is not something I am just like hearing, or it's something I have seen.
We have
Yes.
all seen it.
Yes.
Yes, we
And
have.
it is common, like I can say it is common like in so many places that they don't want a man to do their hair.
It is common. I'm not saying that it's not common. It is common, but where, okay,
There's something I want to get. Are you saying that those who are saying that refusing their workers to plait their hair, are you saying that they are doing the wrong thing?
if you refuse a worker, if you don't give somebody, if somebody is qualified, if you yourself see that this person is qualified for his job and he's having all the skills, he has presented all the certificates, and you still refuse to give the person that job because maybe he's a guy and he played his hair, you are being unfair. That is the reality of it. Well, and I will not say that people should just barge into someone's office looking irresponsible. No, look responsible, because you can still look responsible even with your hair plaited.
Yes.
So looking responsible and barge into someone's office, that person has all the right to give you the job if you have all your certificate and you are qualified for the job. So you cannot tell me that because of your hair, I will not allow you to work. No, no, no. That is not, someone's appearance is not the person's character.
I can now see why you love doing your hair. That's because you follow what our ancestors they have been doing.
Yeah, of course. Of
Hmm.
course I did.